Satnam. Welcome post moon. So some of you probably were affected last night by your sleep. Maybe you had emotions that came up you didn't realise. Most of us just breeze through life not realising whether it's a new moon, a full moon, a waning moon. If you've got a tendency to spiral onto the more spiritual aspect of your life, then you will actually have that feeling that something is different within your feelings, your thought, your sleeping pattern. You will be connected and you actually will have that perception of something isn't quite right. Most of us out there, not me included because I'm quite a spiritual being, but the majority of the people out there that are not spiritual tend to breeze through life and go, oh, I had a bad night's sleep last night, maybe it was the curry I had, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. But anyway, good morning, good afternoon. Today I'd like you to get really, really comfortable, and I'd like to draw what energy we've got left of this beautiful post moon, because it's not at its strongest, so it's not going to drain from you. So what we're going to do today is what we call EFT. So that emotional freedom technique. Most of you that have been to my classes know about this. This is tapping into the energy centers. So what we have such beautiful energy centers going on in our bodies that we need to connect to them and make you feel better. So first of all, we're going to tap together and we're just going to see what comes up with these different emotions. And I don't want you to feel alarmed if nothing comes up with this. I just want you to sit, relax, and enjoy this type of exercise, because this week is about moon energy rebalancing you. So forget about the hundreds of down dogs and the warriors and the sun salutations and all of that umbrella. Let's work on you. Let's work on your energy, your bladder, your meridians, your organs that connect to your skin, your muscles, your tissues, your fibres that make you who you are today. So nestle into the skin, comfortable legs, as I always say, doesn't have to be Sukhasana, easy pose, which is cross-legged. You can sit up against the wall or a cushion if that makes your spine more upright. Close the eyes or just look down and breathe. Feel what it takes to breathe in through the nostrils and that lovely vessel and all those beautiful energy centers in your body that come alive when you breathe. So release the eyelids, but continue to breathe heavily. So we're going to our first EFT point, which is our KC. So it's just on the outside of your small pinkies. And either with 3 fingers or 2 fingers, just tap to the outside here. And this is linked to your intestines. Your intestines have an enormous function going on with everything that you put through it. Your intestines are very, very closely linked to your stomach, and your stomach is linked with your spleen, and this is all about worry. So change hands. Worry, nervousness, and too much worry and nervousness weakens the ability to digest. So this is like, if you're knowing about your reflex points on your feet, your reflex points also are linked to certain organs. So now I want you to do a double tap, and it's called a karate chop. So I want you to tap both of your inside of your fingers. Stay with this. Breathe in and breathe out. Right hand on the top of your head, the crown, and I want you to tap the head. And this is linked to what we call our governing body. Not too heavy, don't create a split in your crown. So this is linked to your governing body, your vessel. So this is a meridian that works all the way through your body, and it's linked to the yang energy. The energy that makes you feel alive and vibrant. Left hand on the crown. Very, very gentle tapping, just to awaken the yang energy. And you might find that today you're feeling fantastic and that you don't need yang energy. You do. You definitely do. So we're going to what we call our EB area. So right hand just inside, with two fingers, sorry, just inside the eyebrow. So where the third eye would have been. And this is linked to your bladder. So this is about fear and kind of change of one's life direction, health, finances, relationships, stroke work balance. All of those aspects of your life create fear. So this is just dissolving the emotion that's connected with fear. Beautiful. Take a long deep breath in and breathe out. So just underneath the eye, very, very gently. So this is our SE. Beautiful. Take it up a little bit higher, maybe to the side of the eye a little bit more. So this is our SE point. Just got my microphone here, so I'll be very gentle. So this is linked to our gallbladder. And our gallbladder is about anger and frustrations and resentment and irritability. Couldn't get that word out today. And all of these areas, if we do not have a vessel to release this anger, then it causes an enormous amount of problems in the gallbladder. Go straight under the UE, under the eye. And this is linked to our stomach. So exactly the same feeling as the spleen, the worry, the resentment, the life balance. Take a breath in, take a breath out. Under the nose, which is our UN point. This is also our governing body, our meridians of energy right through the centre of our body. To the little dip in the chin, so between the bottom lip and the point of the chin. Beautiful, the CH. This is our central vessel, lack of courage or moving forward in life. Again, this is the ability and the sense all the way through the centre of our body that gives us courage and not to feel vulnerable. So on to the CB, which is our collarbone, both fingers, all fingers. Maybe you fancy two, but I like to tap into the collarbone. This is all about stress, anxiety. As you know, with the chest, it's linked with our lungs, our breathing, our life force. This is normally where I do my Tarzan impression, but I'm not going to. So we're going back into worry, right hand underneath the armpit and tap under the armpit. So what I'm doing is waking up these meridian points before we do affirmations. So this is such a beautiful mindful practice today with just one or two yoga poses. Left hand under the armpit, wake up these areas. Beautiful. And relax. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. When you're ready, into the KC, so working through the fingers. So repeat in your mind unless you feel that you want to repeat externally. I'll do the affirmations in a moment. This is about surface fear, the ability to say no. Top of the crown, doesn't matter which hand. Speak in your truth. Beautiful. Taking it to the outside of the eyebrow, or the inside of the eyebrow, sorry. When you speak one's truth, the fear that normally generates and that comes up is, what if they don't like what I've said? Outside of the eye. What if they decide that they don't like me? What if I've said something wrong? Under the eye. Most of us out there are people pleasers. Under the nose. We tend to please people rather than speak our truth. Chin. Collarbone. Say to yourself, I no longer choose to people please. Under the armpit, I no longer choose to people please. I choose the ability to speak my truth from the deepness of my heart, and I speak my truth with love. Relax, take a breath in and breathe out. So here's the affirmations out loud or in your head, and trust this process. It's quite powerful. When you get a moment, maybe Google EFT, Emotional Freedom Tap-In, and see what you can learn from this to help you with any current situation that you've got. I use this every day and I absolutely really love this. I trust in this practice. So I'm not going to talk about the areas. You should visually be able to see what areas I'm on, and I want you to zone in and be able to do this affirmation with me. I release fear of being judged. 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 Stay on one side, guys. I release fear of being judged. I release fear of not being liked. 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 I release fear of not speaking my truth. 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 I release the burden of taking on others' responsibilities. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibilities. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibilities. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibilities. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibilities. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibilities. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibilities. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibilities. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibilities. Come into Anjala Mudra, take a breath in and breathe out. See how your legs are crossed, and please change your way that your legs are crossed to the other position. And if that's not comfortable, have the legs in front of you. I worked my right side. We're now going to complete the section on our left side. You know what's coming. Zone in. Have that ability to believe, trust, and be positive. I release the fear of being judged. Other side. I release the fear of being judged. I release the fear of being judged. Side of the eye, I release the fear of being judged. 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 I release the fear of not being liked. 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 I release the fear of not speaking my truth. I release the fear of not speaking my truth. I release the fear of not speaking my truth. I release the fear of not speaking my truth. I release the fear of not speaking my truth. I release the fear of not speaking my truth. I release the fear of not speaking my truth. I release the fear of not speaking my truth. I release the fear of not speaking my truth. I release the burden on taking on others' responsibility. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibility. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibility. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibility. I release the burden on taking on others' responsibility. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibility. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibility. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibility. I release the burden of taking on others' responsibility. Take a breath and breathe out. When you're ready, come up onto all fours and allow your spine to just integrate with the vertebrae into cat-cow. Inhaling chin and tailbone, exhaling spine. Transporting all these beautiful affirmations around the body. Please choose your speed. And then when you're ready, tuck the toes under, come up into Ardha Mukha Savasana, which is downward facing dog. And I'd like you to stay there for a moment. Stay in down dog and breathe for about 1 minute. Hands and feet the same width apart. Allowing the shoulders to drop heavy. Allow the crown, top of your head to be in line with the floor. Imagine you're breathing up through the hands, up to the arms, to the shoulders, the neck. Exhaling down the spine, to the glutes, all the way down your legs, and ground your feet. Again, breathe in. Transport this energy from your hands up through your arms, your shoulders, your neck. Pause if you wish, and when you exhale, travel the energy down your spine, down the buttocks, back of the legs, all the way down till you feel that your feet are really rooted into the floor. This is what we call earthing or grounding. Close the eyes, be silent, and just allow that breath to flow from the hands to the feet. When you're ready to breathe in, lift your heels off the ground, drop the knees back down onto all fours, across at the ankles, and you should be able to sit back onto the buttocks. Feel the effects of your EFT training throughout the day. If you need any more advice on this, give me a call. I'm really, really happy to help. We worked into the energies of Vata, which we did the other day. And Vata is a beautiful energy that creates movement and feelings of not fatigued. And there's lots of different OMs. In Western world, we think OM as in OM, OM, but actually it's AUM, AUM. So 3 syllables. They're all linked to different doshis, which I'm going to do lots of yoga on doshis, so I'm not going to fill you in just yet. So at this present moment, it's Vata, the energy of movement. Movement in the body, movement of energy, which is what we've done with our tap-in today. And the movement with our Om here is a long A, or O, and then we have a very short Om. So it goes so it's A-U-M, A-O-M. So do it with me. Take a breath in. Please practice your EFT tap-in. If you need to do an affirmation with your tap-in for you to release insomnia and sleep, I'm going to touch base on that next week and do tap-in with affirmations. Or you can choose to do your own affirmations and sit in bed for 5 minutes and tap those various points and let it help you with your sleep. After about 5 or 6 consecutive days of tap-in, you'll definitely notice a difference. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed today. It's different. It's all connection with our bodies. Hugs and love to you all.